Hello, everybody. It is Friday, August 5th, and you are on Shally's Alley. Today, I have a very special guest that's coming to us actually from a very far away, at least for me anyway, practically the other side of the world. Um, and also, he is a very, I should say, prolific, constant contributor to the Talent Method group on Facebook. So for those of you that are on the group, I'm sure you've seen him post quite a bit. He's a strong contributor. And don't be fooled by the background picture, though. It is, I know for sure, it is not daytime where you are right now, Srini.
Yes,
What?
it is about 10:40 p.m. right now.
Yeah, definitely past your bedtime. I'm sure. Thanks for staying up late with us here and joining us on the sourcing
It's a
alley.
pleasure, Shally. It's an
Thank you.
absolute pleasure.
So for those of you that don't know about the group, Srinivas Raju is Raju or Raju, right?
You can call me Srini, Shally. In fact, that would be easy for everyone.
Srini is how he likes to be called, but
Yeah.
he is a member of the Publicis Sapient organization in India, and right now he is a senior talent acquisition manager working on UI UX front end projects, particularly at the senior leadership level, architect, and also works with accessibility projects, which is a passion of mine since I work with people that are blind and have other abilities. Formerly, he was at the IBM, I believe, before coming to
Yeah.
Publicis Sapient. His passions are diversity and niche recruiting and leadership as well, and building center of excellence, personalization and outreach, and so on. I'm going to publish your LinkedIn link here so folks can connect with you. I'll put that on the scroll bar.
Yeah.
There we go. All right. So, welcome. Thanks
Thank
for
you,
joining
Shally.
us. Yeah.
It's a pleasure to share the same stage with you, Shally. And it's basically really nice, basically talking to such a legend in the sourcing industry. You're the father of sourcing. And basically, I believe you had started even before LinkedIn
Oh, yeah.
came in.
Not that I want to admit that, but yeah, definitely. um, 1996. So there was something before LinkedIn that a lot of people don't know about. That was the first social network, and it was called 6 Degrees. But it was only for like a couple of years, and it just really never went anywhere. I think it was done and gone by the year 2000, pretty much. I think it was only around for like 96, 97, maybe 98, long time ago. But that's why I'm getting this gray right here. Yeah, there's not much I can do
Yes.
about it. I'm long in the tooth, gray in the beard, for sure. But I really appreciate you coming on the show. I believe you're the first person from India that has been a guest on the show, and that's not been because of any oversight or anything. I've put out several invitations for people, and you responded recently, so I jumped on the opportunity to get the perspective of somebody. I've visited India a couple of times, particularly actually I was in Pune and in Bangalore.
Bangalore. Yeah.
So those are the two cities that I know in the two areas, very different from each other. But I did spend some time there, so I know a little bit about recruiting there and how things are. I wanted to really get much more of a stronger idea as to what goes on. One of the things you talked about was kind of where the market is going, and you were telling me about there's not just a lot of layoffs, but it's kind of strange because there's all these announcements about layoffs, and then at the same
Correct.
time there's all these announcements about low unemployment, and
Hmm.
the job market's really strong. So it's like, which one is true? Are there layoffs? Are there
Yeah.
is it, so it's like both at the same time. And you
Yeah.
had something interesting to share about that.
Yes, absolutely. Because all of a sudden, especially people who think twice or thrice about moving, jumping ships, rather, because of these layoffs and because of the volatile kind of market. People are kind of thinking twice to change their current job, their present job, because they're also very concerned about security, job security, because they're not getting any younger, and that makes them think all that much. And I see a lot of there's this shift in the way people kind of take up new roles, especially at the leadership level or at the senior level. And it's a little tricky sometimes, right? Like, unless even whatever selling that you do, and however strong pitch you come up with, still it kind of sometimes it doesn't materialize, which is it can get demoralizing. And I would say that, like, we need to uh, build a strong pipeline and get at it, and not to lose hope.
But you were even saying that people are at the very last minute, after the offer,
Yeah.
not showing up, or like, taking back after they've accepted the offer. Tell me more about that.
Yeah, in fact, recently I got a guy whom I had placed for an accessibility role at a senior manager level, which is at a senior architect level. And we spoke about the compensation, we spoke about the breakups, and after, in fact, I happened to release the offer. The guy and I actually happened to release an offer which was slightly more than what we had discussed. And to my astonishment, the guy didn't even open the DocuSign attachment. Right? So, so
Okay, so verbally accepted and then just disappeared, ghosted you.
yes, no,
And
no, I
you
would not
think
say
that
that.
this
Yeah,
is, yeah, and you're saying that this is because of essentially fear of so like,
yeah,
what are they worried about, that they're going to take this job and then
yeah,
they're going to get
because
laid off? What's the worry?
yeah, in fact, when it comes to the interview stage, or the initial pre-interview stage, when I kind of talk to them and speak to them about the opportunity, they get really excited. So they don't think about the move at that point of time. And when it comes to the crunch stage, people start really thinking about it. And okay, am I getting an on-site opportunity? Can I get more within the organization? So probably it also depends upon the kind of organization it is. And so this guy was coming from Adobe. This guy was coming from a good product organization. So probably,
Yeah.
um, and again, that's the challenge that we have to live with, because the expectations that we as an organization have is pretty high, because the stakes are pretty high, because we're not working with small timers in terms of the end clients, because we're only working with large scale
Large
enterprise business
enterprises.
partners.
Okay.
Absolutely. And we're not working on any support or maintenance projects as well, because these are pretty much into from scratch development, as well as um, a lot to do with solving unique and challenging problem statements. And you don't get these people quite easily. And that's some of the challenges that we have to live with.
So
Those are some
they're
of the challenges. Yeah.
the stakes are high. These people are accepting the job. The client is waiting for the deliverable, and
Yeah.
then the person doesn't show up, and now you've already told the client that you're going to have a certain deadline, and you even told the client that you have somebody coming on board, and then they don't show up.
Yes.
So what's the solution for that? Do you have to have like two people for every job now? You have to have like a second offer pending just to make sure?
Yeah, in fact, what I have seen is take the difficult route, because we're not talking about apples to apples here, because from an organization perspective, I was referring to. So we're not talking about similar type of organizations, but there's one thing for sure. The quality, there's no negotiation or
Mm.
no letting down on it. So having said that, the challenge really is to identify people who are following the brand, and really keen and interested to join the organization, as well as somebody who has previously worked with the organization. We're also as an organization looking at ex-employees as well as um, others who have worked with Publicis Sapient, which is a French IT MNC, by the way. Uh, and we pretty much did about the highest revenue that we have done throughout, which is at 19.1% in the first half of the year, that is from Jan to June this year, which is pretty phenomenal. Hope that trend continues. But having said that, it's what really works is when people are really looking for an opportunity with us to work with us, and the employee referrals is something which we as an organization drive. 30 to 35% of the hires that we do come from employee referrals. So
By
so
the way,
that is
that's a pretty
something.
normal number. You hear 35 to 40% a lot in all the organizations that I've worked with and advised, and it demonstrates that's a healthy number. In other words, companies that have a good reputation and a good brand tend to have 35 to 40% employee referrals. Where you see that number going down into the 20s or teens, then that's a sign that there's some employment brand issues. And I rarely see much more than 50%, but I have seen it. So 35 to 40 is it's great. It's a good, healthy, strong referral rate.
Yeah, in fact, I also recommended a platform called employeereferrals.com within the organization, which got implemented. So this kind of gamifies the whole referral system within the organization, and also there will be automatic notifications which would be sent to the referrers, as well as people like us who are in the talent acquisition team, which kind of like how we use Calendly for the interview scheduling. This kind of lets go of all the manual tasks and engages the referrers to do more referrals, and which kind of increases the number of people that we hire through the referral system on a normal basis
Hmm,
without the implementation of a tool.
interesting. I never heard of
So
that tool before. Is it expensive?
um, I'm not sure of the
You didn't, right? You didn't
costing.
negotiate the
Yeah,
loan, yeah.
yeah,
That sounds
yeah.
good. Does it work with non-employee referrals or just only employees?
Yeah, we had a system for non-employee referrals as well, but right now we're only considering employee
Employees,
referrals.
right?
Yeah, because that kind of encourages people to contribute more
Hmm.
within the organization. Yeah, I also use a lot of bookmarklets, Shally. In fact, there are about 210 or 215 bookmarklets that I use on
Wow,
my.
JavaScript ones.
Yeah, yes, yes. So hope you can see my screen, or shall I share it?
You can
Okay,
share it,
let
yeah.
me just. So if you see, in fact, you can let me know once you see the screen, Shally.
I put it up. So here we go on the left-hand
Great.
side.
Yeah.
Actually, I'll do it this way.
So yeah. Okay.
We see it.
Yeah, great. So these are the bookmarklets, JavaScript
Hmm.
bookmarklets that I have. So if I just go to scrapers, so there are multiple bookmarklets that I have for scrapers. So a boatload of them. Then the browser book notepads which I use. There are highlighters on the web page, currency conversion bookmarklets, fonts and text, text to voice, table
Oh wow.
conversions, transpose, GitHub tools, um, background theme readability, as well as sharing content on the web page, right? Like, for example, if I have to share some, I found an interesting article and I want to share that
Mhm.
on
Copy it
LinkedIn
across the
or on
others.
Facebook. Yeah. So, as well as I use a lot of hashtags. In fact, I had recently posted on,
I saw that. Yeah, that was pretty cool.
yeah, it got a ton of response as well, which made me a little happy. And auto scrolling bookmarklets, LinkedIn
Well, how many of
tools.
those do you need? You only need one auto scroller. You can't auto scroll the auto scroll. Come on, man.
So that there are different types of scroller. Like
Right.
there's a smooth scroller, there's a
One where
quartz,
you can set the speed.
yeah, I can set the
Yeah.
speed. So then LinkedIn tools, this is something which you might have seen that Andre Bradshaw has a bookmarklet for the auto
Mhm.
see more. This came actually. I thought, why can't we have a bookmarklet? Because on LinkedIn profiles, we normally have to click on the see more to see more of the about information, and then also to see more in the experience category, wherein people would have mentioned a lot of things on the experience. So this kind of one of this, okay, this one works on LinkedIn Basic and this works on LinkedIn Recruiter. So based on this idea, in fact, I had shared with Andre. He actually built a tool which would do that. And I found that there was, I think he built the one on LIR, and I found this one, which was previously working only on the about section. And when I came up with this with AB, then he kind of added the functionality on to experiences as well. So we just have to click on the bookmarklet and it loads the whole page in just one click.
Nice.
So yeah. And
Are
then
these in
there
a
is
way that would you mind sharing these or some of these? I know Glenn has them in a library
yeah,
somewhere. It
yeah.
kind of reminds me of that. You have that in a way that you could share?
Yes. In fact, what I could do is probably, I do not know of a way how I could share that. Probably I could um, export the bookmarklets and then probably share that if
I
it
know
might
he
work.
puts them on like a zip file or something like that that
Yeah,
you download.
there's a Chrome extension called as Parlet, uh, Powerlet rather. Um, it's called as Powerlet. Yeah. So this is a Chrome extension which we could use only to search bookmarklets. This only
Mm.
works on JavaScript code bookmarklets, and there's something called
So, most of these are
page.
JavaScript though?
No, these are proper Chrome extensions. There's something called as page notes, which I
Mm.
normally use. Like we use Smart Recruiters as an ATS, and what I do is like whenever I open a particular page on the ATS, right? Like what because it takes the main URL smartrecruiters.com, and if I had set up some notes, so all those notes would kind of pop up, like how this one shows a number. When I go to that page, which has that main domain URL, then it shows me all the links. For example, there's something that I don't want to remember those things, and when I go
Yeah, it's
into a
too much
particular
to.
website, yeah, so it shows me which are all the things that I need to be doing or acting on when I'm on Smart Recruiters as an ATS. And it's also important. I believe that um, um, we need to slice and dice data sets to be able to find more people. And that's one of the reasons why I built uh, a custom search engine with about 84, in fact, refinements.
Yeah, you
So
were
it
telling me
doesn't
about
have
that.
facets. It doesn't have facets, but it
Yeah.
just has refinement. The way I look at it is, we do a search query, and so on the all section, or the on the all section, or on the non-images section, we get 100 results, and in the images section we get 200 results. So if we have 83 or 84 segments or refinements, so it is so when we go to the last page and we change the page number to 6 or 11, then we're going to get some more results. So which I learned from you actually, Shally, and thanks for that. I actually learned how to build custom search engines from your videos. And
And you got
once we
really
do
good
that,
at it.
Yes, yes, yes. Thanks for you. Thanks for the
Oh, my
YouTube
pleasure. That's
videos
why I do that.
and so that's how. If we multiply that, we get about 25 to 26,000 results, uh, depending on the number of refinements that you have done. And whereas on LinkedIn, you get only 1,000 results per search query. So that's and we could the other thing which I've noticed is people talk about present and using the around function, but what I've seen on LinkedIn is uh, on certain pages of people's profiles, the whole experience segment, even it is all a link. So if I click on present, it's not text on all the profiles. It automatically goes into the company about section, and it's a link. So that when profiles have those type of links in and around present, so we cannot use the around function, and we're not going to find those particular web pages when we use around present 10, for example.
Okay.
Yeah. So I also use a lot of, in fact, I like using shortcuts like you spoke about magical. In fact, it has come up with the transfer functionality as well. The last time you spoke about magical, Shally. So apart
Magical. Yeah,
from,
we've been working with that.
yeah, so yeah, so it's come up with an additional feature called transfer. We could transfer content, like basically you did show about the spreadsheets, and it would
Mhm.
kind of scrape the information as long as we have the same in fact, for example, we're looking at LinkedIn profiles, or we're looking at ATS profiles, or we're looking at something else. As long as the window has the same tabs, it becomes easy to get that information into a spreadsheet. So now we have something called transfer, which makes it even easier. um, I've also been using Google Forms and Microsoft Forms. I would prefer Google Forms because it allows us to um, um, attach certain documents, and this is not just within people within the organization. It could be anyone. Whereas in Microsoft Forms, only people within the organization can attach documents or any type of files. So that is one of the things which Google Forms is much better than Microsoft Forms that way. And we could
Yeah.
use this when we post something on LinkedIn, or even when we do a job posting on a job portal. So we would get a lot of profiles, or people, and based on our questions, and based on the different refinements or the options that we have kind of set up, it makes our life a little more easy. And I had been using quick forms as well, quick parts on um, Outlook. Funny thing about that is I stopped using it because whenever we kind of restart the system, sometimes the saved quick parts kind of disappears. So I don't know what to do about it. Like somebody's mentioned some trick to that, but I have not really
Hmm.
gone ahead and further experimented on that.
What? Tell me a little bit more about that. The quick parts disappear.
Yeah. So in fact,
So like with from one document to the other, or
quick parts are something which we use on Microsoft Outcome, where it works like a shortcut. Right? Like we could use a shortcut, or by just using, if you're using a Windows system, we could just do a Windows V, and we can set up shortcuts right in the. We don't have to use Templify. It acts like a clipboard. So everything that we copy, it automatically gets saved there, and we can pin three shortcuts using the Windows V, which is the clipboard basically. That can be used. What I was talking about is Outlook quick parts. So basically, what it does is we can um, we can basically save shortcuts. So we just type,
Yeah, I know what you're talking
we
about. So in Outlook and in Word too,
yeah.
and it's like snippets of text or different things. But you're saying it disappears. That's what I was like wondering
Yeah, in
how does
fact,
that happen?
I'm not sure. In fact, I need to just. I'm not sure why it happens because I. Uh, so what happens whenever I restart the system? I don't normally restart my system, but I keep it on
Oh,
sleep mode. So when I
I
restart the
see.
system, yeah, when I restart the system, what happens is it doesn't happen all the time, but when I do it a couple of times or three times, then the templates which I had saved kind of disappears. So a lot of work would have gone into that, and so then I thought either using OneNote. I use OneNote as well. I'm a big fan of OneNote because it is easy to save things and compartmentalize things. Uh, Different templates. Templates are really useful because when we're sending any type of message, I'm a big fan of prepping candidates or technologists, and also doing a debrief to them as to what is the expectation and what are the things that they need to kind of brush up. So that's something which people really appreciate, and it also helps them to clear the interviews as well.
Got it. So are you using automation
Yes.
to personalize like data enrichment and stuff like that as well?
Yes, data enrichment. What I normally do is, yeah, we do have extensions, but apart from that, there are about 15 extensions that I am aware of. Probably there are more, but I have used about 15 contact finding tools. Having said that,
But do
what
they
I do is
automate or
like,
is it like just one contact at a time? Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you there.
yeah. So I don't use any paid services. I've never used any paid services. Like I always like free content. So that way, basically, I have never done it at scale. Uh, so, um, but having said that,
That answers my
what I know,
question. Okay.
yeah.
You are
So
automating it, but in batches, not at scale. Got it.
yeah. So what I also do is when I find somebody online, there are different things which I could do is like initially I get their try to get their email ID. So we could do it on Bitbucket. Many people are aware of how to get the email IDs on GitHub, but we can also do it on Bitbucket by just going into commits and going into the URL and just adding to the URL after we have clicked on a particular commit. We just need to mention /raw RAW. Then it gives us the
Oh,
email ID. Yeah.
nice.
So we do a dot patch on GitHub, and we go to the commits of any Bitbucket user, where we could use this really to for DevOps profiles. So a lot of people who are working on DevOps tend to be on Bitbucket. So we could do that. We could do a simple search, like we could do an X-ray search with looking for web pages, LinkedIn web pages, which has either the link bitbucket.org or the text bitbucket.org /asterisk. So when we do either this or that, then it kind of captures all those LinkedIn profile web pages which has the Bitbucket, and then we could use this hack and then get their email IDs. So then what I do is then I cross-reference those email IDs on one of the job boards. Like in India, we use Naukri, most of us, and then we
The
also,
monster of or the career builder of
yeah.
India.
Yes, and then we have the second free platform, that is the ATS. So people normally don't use ATS to its fullest extent, probably because most of them are not as robust as it should be. But we could also use that database to find contact information of people once we have their email IDs. And then the image hack as well, like we could do the image hack, do a right click, or if it doesn't work, we just copy the URL and
Reverse
paste it.
reverse
Yeah.
image.
Yeah.
So that's do you use TinEye for that?
Yeah, we
or
could use
Google
Tinai for that.
for the
I
reverse
use
image?
Google.
Mhm.
I believe apart from Google, there's that Russian search engine which is really good as well.
For image
I'm
search?
yeah, for image search. So TinEye is absolute. Pim Eyes is even better. Pim Eyes is really better than everything else, I believe. But
Oh,
we can't do more than five in the free by using the free version. I believe we need
five a
to.
day or what? Five.
I think it is 5 a day. I'm not very sure,
Okay.
but Pim Eyes is the best that there is.
I'm adding it to the scroll bar here. Okay. Cool. So another thing that you and I talked about a little bit is life outside of LinkedIn, right? So
Yes, yes.
you're talking about GitHub, you're talking about um, Bitbucket. Well, David Marr recommended Bitbucket and a few of these others.
Hmm.
But that's great. It's just for developers. It's just for people that are in technology. For UI, is it really? I mean, are you finding a lot of UI people that way, or
No,
um,
I don't work on designer.
accessibility? Right.
Yeah.
So where do you go for that?
So in fact, I've seen a lot of people on coffeemug.ai as well. There are a lot of sites which I have bookmarked. So there are about uh, X-ray searches, different X-ray Google searches which I do, and every time I find something new, I keep on bookmarking it. So there are about 1,200 of them on my browser, on my Chrome extension. So not on my Chrome extension, but on my Chrome browser.
Okay,
So
1,200 bookmarks. Ah, okay,
yes.
that's a lot for
So
UI specifically.
so in fact, for
Okay.
UI designers, I would say Dribble, uh, Coroflot. There's one for only Indian UI designers. There's
These are
obviously
niche
Behance.
communities, and
Yeah.
yeah,
Um, so what I also do is sometimes I never post jobs on LinkedIn. I just there's a saying, right? Like I'm just deviating a little bit here. Relatives. Everybody has relatives. Unless and
hello.
until wake, yeah. Can you hear me, Shally? Am I audible? Am I audible? Hello,
I can hear
hello.
you. You
Okay,
there?
great. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thought I
yeah,
lost you for a minute.
absolutely. Yeah. So I just thought about deviating a little bit because I normally try to bring different analogies to make people understand, or just for my own self, like I try to bring in different analogies. Why should a why should a candidate or a technologist or any kind of person that we're trying to hire target audience respond to our LinkedIn in-mails, or even just a post we do on LinkedIn or any other place. So
Good
just
question.
for
I'll answer that.
example, even if we just talk about our relatives, our own, in fact, people who are relatives, right? So if we do not go and see them in person, or we do not attend their events, so they're not going to come to our events as well. So
Yeah, that's a
so
good point.
yes,
Reciprocity, right?
yes, absolutely, because it could be a marriage, it could be an event, it could be something else.
Yeah.
So it could be a birthday party, or it could be something else. If we don't go to their events, why should they go to events?
Yeah.
So
Right. No, that makes
what
sense.
I've seen is we, uh, in fact, we should give even before we get. We expect something from others.
Pay it
So
forward.
when we do that, I normally believe in sharing content which resonates with the target audience that we as talent acquisition professionals are looking to reach out to. So when we share content which resonates, which they actually are looking for those type of things, and that immediately kind of bridges the gap. And when we do that, we get more of a response from people. It I have done it many times wherein I don't even post jobs. I just uh, post stuff that people are interested, my target audience, and use certain hashtags. Um, and then I just update my LinkedIn profile saying I'm hiring for these roles, and I never post. People automatically come and connect on my LinkedIn profile and share their profile. So that is one way of doing it. The other way is obviously to like and share content which they are posting, people are writing about, um, and so it works both ways. So I would say these two hacks sometimes work better than your in-mail. So when we're doing an in-mail, I normally use a salesperson kind of a strategy, wherein the first email would be like, okay, um, it would be like, okay, I came across, okay, this is what we do as an organization, which is very unique.
A little bit about us.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, which is very unique. So not too much about the organization as such,
But what's
more
unique?
about
What's different?
in the particular division that we are hiring for.
Yeah,
What's
it's
unique?
granular,
Yeah,
not the brand of the company.
yes. So then basically second would be like, okay, this is what I saw on your LinkedIn profile which really caught my attention. This is precisely what we do, and would definitely like to talk to you based on your availability, um, uh, because these are the two three things which I really liked about your profile, and you would be a great addition to our organization, and it would be a win-win situation, because it's not only about us, it's also about them, and how we can make this engagement a win-win situation. So when that kind of we do that kind of a messaging and personalization, obviously it takes time if you're working on scale, but um, writing 3 lines of personalization doesn't harm. So the rest would
Three
be the
lines is
same
a
content.
lot.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Are you open to a couple of questions? There was a question from somebody in the
Yes,
discussion
yes,
that was asking if you have any tips for a 3D animator.
yes. There's something called ArtStation, if you have heard of it. There's a platform called ArtStation. You could use that. You see a lot of 3D animators there, because the platform is for 3D people as well as designers.
So you would
Um,
find users of it, or
yes, just like how we have Behance or
okay,
Dribble, people
community
would test of
platform of
their
community
portfolios and their
of their
3D
work.
kind of, yeah, their work in
Yeah.
ArtStation. So again, if you're X-raying there, you could just use the profile ArtStation, and then you could try to look for people who have either left their LinkedIn link or a Gmail or something else, or plus 91 or plus one, whatever
Hmm.
you want to use. So which would give you more information.
So you can use. I
I
see.
also like to use mail. I also like to use mail merges because um, when you have made a template and you insert certain fields, like, okay, when you want to do a personalized message, so you basically make a column for that in an Excel file, and then add your personalization content in that column, and automatically that kind of aligns in the mail merge, and that would be sent to individual
Hmm.
people based on the column, if it's in the same line as in the name and the email ID of the person, if it's in the same row item rather.
Well, I'm gonna put ArtStation in the ticker here so people who are listening can see the address. There it is. So that's our tip for 3D animators, 3D artists. Um, we have another question. Do you have any tips for Martech, marketing technology?
In fact, I don't have anything on me as of now, but if I do a little bit of research, I will easily come across at least 2 to 3 platforms.
Yeah. Okay, that's why we don't have a Martech one for you. One that I know of is a platform called Braze, Braze, but that's just something that we use. So maybe check that out. But let's see, what was the other question we had? I saw another one here that was, oh right. So it was a clarification um, on the Bitbucket, and it was actually about GitHub. Here's the other one: a channel video material to refer to that we can learn what you're talking about. Is there anything? It's just you, right? You're inventing
Yeah,
this
in
stuff.
fact,
So
yeah, in fact, I always, in fact, try to basically. I do have a bone for it, but having said that, like there was a time when in 2021 there was almost every day that I would find something new, and only then I would go to sleep. So otherwise, like so
long
I
nights,
feel,
man.
yeah. So and what I also try to do is like, okay, no, this is not for I would not advise this to everybody. This is a little crazy. Sometimes even to have my lunch or even dinner, or
Mhm.
to go to my sleep, so I have to earn that, at least by finding something or doing
Earn your
something
lunch.
substantial. Yeah, earn your lunch and earn your dinner, kind of a thing. So
That's awesome. I like
so
that.
that kind of works for me.
It's in
But
it.
yeah,
Yeah, it's a way to reward yourself for innovation and creativity. Yeah, I
correct.
like
So
it.
everything starts from creativity, because if someone doesn't have creativity and they just want, okay, a plus b is equal to c, okay, I do a certain number of calls a day, then I get a certain number of people, then I get
Yeah.
interest a certain number of people, getting them interested in the opportunity, then I would get a certain number of interviews per day, and then I would get a certain number of interviews to happen over a week, and then I would ultimately
And what
get
happens when that doesn't
one or
work,
two
right?
offers, right? So
What happens when the formula doesn't work? Yeah,
yes. So
I like it. We
there are
got
people
one
like
last
that.
question.
Yeah,
We got one last question. If you have any tips for German-speaking functional resources in India,
absolutely. Yes,
German-speaking in India, that's
absolutely. Yeah,
multilingual.
there is uh, there. I'm not remembering the name of the platform. Yeah, we can do it on LinkedIn, because there is a language speaking native
Yeah,
bilingual
if you go
and
into
also
Recruiter, yeah.
professional. Yeah, we could easily do an around there, around. Yeah, around two, I guess. Yeah, we could do around two, and we could alternate between either lingual and yeah, bilingual and native, or
Mhm.
with professional speaking. There are about five sections, if I remember properly, in terms of the language proficiency. There's another place called, it starts with C. I've forgotten. I was using it about nearly 1.5 years before. This is a place where people, okay, it's called as Couchbase. Yeah,
Say that again.
Couchbase.
Couch. Oh,
Couchbase. Yeah,
okay,
Couchbase. This is a place
got it.
where people travel. This is a place where people travel, and basically uh, they find
Like
place where
Airbnb
they
for
could stay.
couches.
Yeah, yeah. So they find, so when people are traveling, they're looking for a place where they can stay for about 2-3 days, and that's when I've seen a huge number of people in Couchbase who are language professionals.
Oh,
If you check with Lundgren, if you check with
yep.
Lundgren, he had spoken about this about 2 years before, and he basically came across went across this platform, and they have segregations even in the URL. You can actually search for the website, and you can look for example, French national speaking people in a particular area as well. And then you could write them a message. You could directly send them a message, as long as you are there on the platform as a user.
Hmm. Okay. Couch.
Base, yeah,
Couch base. I'm gonna look it up and see if I can place it in here.
yeah. Yeah, I think Carlo
Like Airbnb for couches.
Pizzuto. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Couchbase.com. That's pretty easy. Okay, there we go.
yeah.
All right.
I'm glad that I remembered it. It's been ages since I used it.
Yeah, wow, that's pretty good. Great memory. Wow. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show. I really appreciate you staying up late with us and hanging out and answering all these questions. Very glad that you were able to make it. Sorry I kept you a little bit more than the 30 minutes, but we are having so much fun. I didn't want to interrupt.
No,
Any last words in closing for our audience? Anything that you want to? Any parting words?
yes. Uh, yeah. So I've seen a lot of people, especially in the talent acquisition segment division. People say that like um, I have cleaned up or wiped out all the people that are there uh,
Oh,
on
I've
the
used.
platform.
I
That
got it. I
right.
found
So
everybody. I found everybody.
I found everybody. So
uh,
can you tell me how I could? Is there another job portal or is there any other place that I could find more people? So
right.
I would always suggest that we run multiple searches. It could the first search that we do might be on the title. Um, Probably we could have 5 to 6 or 7 different types of titles, which could be the low-hanging fruit for us. And then in the second search, what we could do is we could eliminate those titles which we did in the first search, but
Mhm.
include those. Okay, the combination, the skill set combination. Here I'm talking about tech. So we could include those skill set combinations, and if we want to negate testers or designers or something else,
Oh, and
we could do
eliminate the
that.
ones that you don't
We
want.
could do
Okay.
that. But what specifically we're doing here is in the second search is we're eliminating the titles which we used in the first search. We're going to look at a different data set altogether. And
So
then we could,
like a
yeah,
tranche number one,
yeah,
then tranche number two, missing tranche number one. How far can you go before it's too long?
yes, absolutely. And then,
How far can you take that before it like becomes unbearable to the search engine?
yeah, we could take that methodology, the same exact methodology, location by location. So what it does is,
Oh, I see what you mean. Okay.
yeah, for example, in US we have 50 states, so we do it state by state, and
Yeah.
we could use that methodology. And the third one, what we could do is we could look for people um, uh, who which is basically the last set of people which we want to look at,
Mhm.
wherein we look for okay either this or that in the skill set, but they're working with certain organizations, which kind of tells us that if an organization is a Microsoft shop, or if an
I gotcha.
organization
So
is an
find them
EMC
because of their
storage shop, yeah,
environment. Yeah, I see
yeah,
what you're saying. Right. So they won't have the skill set on their resume or their profile or their bio, but because they work at this company and you know that that company runs that technology or does that work, then that's another way to expand your search. That it's not by the keywords or the job titles or the
yeah.
geography, but by the company because the company uses that technology. And you might miss a little bit, but
Yes,
you
yes,
know, there
absolutely, yeah, yeah.
but you also might find some people that you didn't find before. I like that. Yeah. Well, that's a really good tip on how to go beyond when you say I'm done. I don't find anyone else. How to keep going beyond that. That was great. Appreciate it. Well, thanks everybody. I hope you have a great weekend, and we'll see you on the next Shally's Alley. Take care, everybody.
Thank you so much, Shally. Thanks for your time.
You're welcome. Great to have you. Bye.